I'm Spencer Mazyck, and joining me now to discuss the merger between Random House and Penguin is Charles Engros. He is a managing partner at Morgan Lewis, who is responsible for its international practice. The firm represents Penguin in this deal. Welcome, Charles. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So from your client's perspective, what's the M&A strategy here? I mean, why did it want to bring together these two powerhouse publishing companies?
Well, I think because there's a lot of change in the publishing and media industry generally, and that applies to the consumer publishing industry as well as other aspects of the industry. And there are challenges from digital media. No one's quite sure what the delivery platform will be for books going forward, how much that's going to cost. So there's a lot of incentive to create a larger platform that will enable more effective investment, more effective response to change, as well as with these two particular companies, there's quite a cultural similarity, which made a combination seem to make sense, as well as geographically. Pearson is strongest in the emerging markets and outside the United States. Random House is the largest consumer publisher in the United States and the UK, so that made sense as well.
How much of this deal, in your opinion, is in response to the power of the digital marketplace?
Well, I don't think it's the power, it's the opportunity of the digital marketplace and the uncertainty that one doesn't know how much capital investment will be required to effectively compete and to respond to the ever-changing environment there. So by combining the resources of the two companies, you're in a much advantageous position of responding.
When the cloud alone also, this enormous publisher, will certainly allow it to shape its sales relationship with Amazon, Google, and Apple, just to name a few, right?
Well, certainly I think that there'll be obviously to be a combined entity that's negotiating with booksellers of digital, of hardcover, any sort of books, yes.
And is the merger here projected to reduce cost in production and warehousing for both publishing units?
Well, I think that's part of it as well. I think the scale will enable some efficiencies of warehousing, efficiencies in purchasing supplies, across the board. There should be savings there as well. That'll make the combined business a more effective competitor.
Well, and because you can't believe everything that you read, let me ask you, is it true that HarperCollins made a last-minute bid for Penguin with an offer of $1.6 billion?
I certainly read that in the news media just as you did.
Right, and of course, and that's why I guess breakup fees aren't common here, but certainly Random House would have no need for concern here with that particular offer if it's true.
Well, I think both Pearson and Bertelsmann are committed to the transaction.
How many of these transactions do you think we'll see in the future, especially among top publishers or even acquisitions of independent publishers? Are we going to see more of that in the next couple of years?
Well, I think that's hard to say. I think you're going to see in the media and information industries generally some move towards consolidation because of the efficiencies of scale that result. I also think there will be some companies, as there are in any industry, that have difficulty responding to change. And will be acquisition targets. And there also will be, I think, continuing pressure on management of media companies to focus specifically on what they do well. And I think you might see, and this is purely my personal opinion, fewer media conglomerates being formed in the future, but you may see more larger, very focused companies doing specific niche work very well.
Well, and isn't Morgan Lewis the team to call whenever you're structuring business transactions for media companies?
Well, I would certainly say that. I'm glad you said it.
You've got a proven track record. Can you tell us about some of the media deals and transactions that you've handled recently?
Yeah, well, actually, October alone was a very, very busy month for me. In addition to the Random House Penguin deal, the week before that, we had represented Pearson in a $650 million acquisition of a company called MVNet, which provides online course support for universities and colleges. The week before that, we had represented Reed Elsevier in the sale of Variety, as Reed Elsevier focuses its business and moves out of consumer publishing. And during the past year, we've done Reed's largest acquisition in the U.S. in quite some time of Acuity in the B2B space. We've done 5 or 6 deals of consequence for Pearson. We've represented Daily Mail in streamlining its business in certain respects. And we've done a series of deals for the New York Times. As the New York Times focuses increasingly on its core properties, we worked with them when they sold their interest in the Red Sox, which I think was good news for Yankee fans who read the New York Times. Sold About.com. sold their regional newspaper interests as they focus on their core properties.
Well, and what's it take to be successful when you're structuring business transactions for media companies?
Well, I think, in any industry, it takes a certain amount of legal skill and experience. So
Right,
you take that for granted. But I think what we try to bring to the table is, having done a lot of these deals, we understand how they're done. We understand what the issues are. I know in one recent transaction where we were on the sell side, a very prominent law firm was representing the buyer, and when it came time for due diligence, they gave us a due diligence request that really had nothing to do with the media business. It didn't focus on what issues are relevant with respect to software, what issues are relevant with respect to author rights, copyrights. It could have been for a manufacturing company, but we know those things, having done the deals.
Well, keep up the good work, and thank you very much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Great. It's a pleasure to be here.
For more information on this or other topics, subscribe to BloombergLaw.com. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for joining us. Bye, everybody.